complexity and conflict, horror and beauty. But there's one issue that tests me like few others, and the closer I get to its heart, the harder it becomes to keep my emotions in check. When people and animals collide, things are never simple. In this wildlife-human conflict, I'm often called in to seek out the truth, to find out what's really happening on the front lines, and identify the heroes who are making a difference. My name is Ivan Carter, hunter, conservationist, and wildlife investigator. Since our first footsteps on this continent, humans have clashed with the king of beasts. We are two apex predators, locked in competition, and often for the same resources. Huddled by our fires at night, or protected by our fences, walls, and cities. We've learned to fear and respect the mighty lion. And the feeling is mutual. But now the lion's habitat is being swept away. Its food sources are shrinking. Its future uncertain. In just 1 century, the African lion population has plummeted by 95%. Today, there are fewer than 32,000 lions in Africa. And that number has fallen. But not here.
You know, as I look across this vast expanse of beautiful Africa, literally hundreds of thousands of acres, this is a property where the lion still roars. What is it that's making sure this property has an increase in lions, whereas everywhere else they're in serious decline? Look at this. Absolutely spectacular.
This is the Bubi Valley Conservancy in southern Zimbabwe. 3,740 square kilometers of pristine wilderness. And a shining example of our very best efforts to save the wild lion. Today, I'm traveling with my dear old friend and master tracker, Livy, a man who is every bit as passionate about protecting the wild lion as I am. We're here to meet the man in charge, Park Manager Blondie Leatham, to find out how he's been able to maintain a growing and healthy lion population. Blondie has asked us to meet him at a very specific set of coordinates, deep inside the park.
Blondie, how are you, man?
Good, man. So you found it?
You thought I'd be lost, eh?
Yeah, indeed.
How are you?
Good. And yourself?
Excellent. Good, thanks. Blondie, this is Livy. Livy, this is Mr. Blondie.
Good. Nice.
What is this?
This BSAP trooper was killed by lion, 1899.
That's a long time ago.
They had a camp up on top of the hill, and apparently at night, he heard the dog barking, walked outside, and was attacked by the lion. And it disemboweled him. His friend pulled him into a storeroom and took off on the horse and rode down to Fort Thule, which is about, I suppose, even at full gallop, if you had a fit horse, it would take a day.
Sure.
And brought help, but obviously the guy died. It was just the two troopers that were in the camp when it happened.
Since humans and lions have walked on this planet, any time that they've clashed,
There's been conflict.
there's been conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no such thing as peaceful cohabitation between humans and lions. And yet at the same time, Blondie, when I look at what you guys do, the right humans are absolutely the solution. The wrong humans are to the detriment of the lion and the decline of the lion.
Unfortunately, yes, that is history.
What do you think is the main conservation tool that you've got here at your disposal at the moment?
Ivan, I think probably the best thing is we'll travel to the boundary and I'll show you. So
Yeah.
you can see firsthand.
Cool.
The success here at the Bubi Valley Conservancy is not just anecdotal. As we drive, Blondie tells me that some of the world's leading lion research takes place right here. An elaborate collaring program, run by Oxford PhDs, has been instrumental in giving biologists a better understanding of lion behavior, diet, and social structures.
Ivan, I wanted to bring you here to show you this part of the fence because you can see the extent of it disappearing in the distance. We've got 450 kilometers.
450 Ks.
450 Ks of a fence exactly the same as this, cleared both sides and in the middle. I consider it to be the most important conservation tool in modern Africa because it prevents wildlife-human conflict. This is the future of wildlife in Africa.
It's hard to believe that something as simple and primitive as a fence could provide a solution to such an age-old problem. But on the other side of this fence, humans and lions continue to cross paths. And nowhere more so than in the cattle-herding villages of the African savannah. I've traveled to this particular village system in the heart of the continent to see firsthand how that conflict is playing out. Here, the people live close to the earth, handing down their traditions from one generation to the next, relying on their farming and livestock for the only source of income they have ever known.
You know, as you spend a little bit of time in these villages, you realize that these people really do live hand to mouth. They live day to day. To a Westerner, eliminating the lions is a terrible thing. To someone here who's literally on the knife edge of survival most of their life, it's just one less thing to have to worry about. A place with no lions to them is a welcome place.
But though their numbers have declined dramatically, wild lions still stalk the perimeters of these villages. And as I'm about to discover, in this part of the world, old rivalries run deep. My name is Ivan Carter, and I've come to the cattle-herding villages of the African savannah to see how the ancient conflict between humans and lions continues to play out. When lions come into a populated area, they become very shy and secretive. A nocturnal animal by nature, often the only way to see lion behavior in a region like this is to look for their tracks. Along with my good friend and master tracker Livy, we begin our investigation, scouting the water holes and roadways that connect this system of villages and their livestock.
Big Livy, let's just look for tracks here.
As we arrive at the outskirts of one of these watering holes, something in the air catches my eye.
We've just seen some vultures in the sky here. The villages are not that far from here. I'm not sure what it is. So Livy and I are just going to track in here, try and keeping our eyes on the ground, trying to get an idea of what might be in the bush here.
Historically, vultures are an excellent indicator of predator activity in an area. And Livy and I can't help but let our curiosity get the better of us. So we head into the bush to investigate.
There's a vulture in the tree here. There seems to be several in the trees over here. I'm not seeing any signs on the ground yet. No tracks yet, eh, Livy?
No tracks yet.
Livy's not seeing any tracks either. What's this, Livy?
It's a human track.
That's the back of his heel here. You can see it's probably from yesterday. There's quite a bit of other sign on top of it. That's the outline of the human track. There's a little cat that has walked on top of this track. It's come across. Most little cats and mongooses and things like that are nocturnal. What that indicates is that this track is actually from yesterday.
So far from the main roadway, this is not the sort of track we're expecting to find.
Vulture feathers, Livy. This is from the breast of the vulture. They've got 2 layers of feathers because they got a very, very high altitude, which means that they get very cold up there. This is one of the little feathers that acts as a insulating layer. And very often when they're scrabbling and fighting over a kill, these are what get dislodged and you'll find them on the bush. You still got those human tracks here?
And at the end of these human tracks, right under the hungry eyes of a pack of vultures, we are shocked to find a lion. While looking for signs of human-lion conflict with my friend and master tracker Livy, we've come across human footprints and vultures deep in the bush, and they've led us to a dark discovery. Our journey's first lion, but not the way we wanted to find it. And he's been here for several days.
No tracks that side, Livy? The human tracks have evaporated, but that's not because the human didn't come here. I think it's more because the vultures have been here. As I get closer, it's smelling quite bad. A lot of the hair has fallen out. What we see on the ground here, this is mane hair. It's definitely a male.
Only male lions grow manes. Contrary to popular belief, a mane's size and color is not determined by age, but much like human hair, its qualities vary from one individual to the next.
Until we really look at the lion's teeth, we won't be able to tell if it's an old male or a young male. So one of the ways that you would age a lion is by looking at its teeth, and in particular its canines. What you look for is a ridge on the back that's still sharp. As these lions get older, that ridge wears down from the constant cutting motion through meat and bone. That ridge starts to get chipped away and worn.
From the ridge on this tooth, I can tell that this lion was an adolescent. Far too young for a natural death. Livy and I tried to determine just what killed him, but clear indications may prove hard to find.
The tip of this lion's tail is intact. If another predator, a hyena or something like that had been here, it probably would have crunched the tail off. The vultures have just eaten the meat and the skin off the tail. When you see that none of the ribs are cracked or broken, the main muscle mass has been removed from a small hole, that's a sign of vulture feeding. Unfortunately, in this case, the vultures, the natural undertakers, they've cleaned all the evidence off this carcass. You can't really tell why it's died or how it's died. And so we have to look further afield, and the first thing that jumps into my mind is the human footprint that led us in here in the first place. I think we've got as much as we can get from looking at this carcass. I'm going to have to go to the village and start asking some questions and see what they have to say. If you better tiene kutaura na mavinja.
Yeah, sure.
Titaura na kuti. The way they answer those questions, we'll know.
After our chance discovery of a single dead lion near a livestock watering hole, both Livy and I plunged deep into the nearby system of farms and villages, looking for answers. Most of the locals here are reluctant to talk to us on camera, especially about a dead lion.
Yes, in fact. What did I do? You
But one young cow herder gives me a good idea of where to start.
Well, I'm told that one of the community elders lives in this village up here. This is actually very close to where we found that dead lion. In a straight line, we're only a couple of miles away. It looks like there's a small gathering of people outside this hut. Certainly an old guy sitting there. Nufunga ndio kumba kwa mabibi, eh?
Yeah.
Yewo mabibi?
Yewo.
Uraide?
Right.
Good. Continua kutaura nimi nyaya ye shumba hapa. Zunitere?
Yeah,
Hesitantly, he agrees to speak with us,
Okay.
but asks that we come and sit with him beneath his favorite tree.
Sure, this old guy moves fast.
Hey, unofamba ni speed, eh?
Yeah.
Une magora mangani?
82.
82 years and he still walks like that. This is a tough old dude. Yeah, good. So mabibi, wana shumba akaroyo anemuno.
Once seated, I ask him about lion activity in the area. He says there are lions here, but far fewer now than when he was a boy.
Yeah, pane shumba pakada bari azigere kumbobuda.
Oh, anobuda mazwano? Hapana. Hapana akaraiwa shumba hapa. Hapana anaoroa shumba.
Hapana.
Hapana. What he's telling me is that nobody's killed a lion here recently. He doesn't know of any lions that have been killed. Do you know that kutaura naye?
Livy tries a different tactic and asks if any livestock or cattle have gone missing recently. The elder says it happens from time to time. In fact, he thinks one of his sons might have lost a donkey just a short while ago.
Sunita marimombe.
Yamtanga.
He sends a boy across the village to call him over.
Uloditse ganga mur. Dobu damtura ripala.
Kanjani dongi?
Dongi no wanda ko 200.
200, eh?
$200.
What he's telling me is that it costs $200 for a donkey, and it takes a long time to save $200.
After some time, the old man's son shows up.
Yoi. Pastor Fambere. Kudu. Yeah, kudu. Yeah, so ndazinza kuti ukashaiwa donge, eh?
Ndakashaya donge.
Rini, zuro.
No zuro.
Whoa. Akashaiwa
He tells me that while he was returning from the waterhole the other evening, he turned around and noticed that one of his donkeys was no longer among the rest of the herd. He retraced his steps, but with daylight fading, there was nothing more he could do.
He says he went and looked for it this morning, but he didn't find it, so he's just asked everybody to look out for it. Tichaenda kutsvaga donkey, eh? Uyai nemi, ndinoda kuona kuti inogara kupi. Rambai zvenyu. I asked him if he would come with me and we could go and look for the donkey together. He said no, he'd rather stay here, but he would welcome the help for us to go and look for it.
I tell him that hopefully, with our truck and our tracking skills, Livy and I might be able to help.
Alright, mdar.
Alright.
Maita zvenyu.
Alright.
Alright, maita zvenyu. Kana ndaiwana donkey yenyu tichatsoka pano. Alright. It seems a little bit weird that, this guy doesn't want to come with us. He's welcoming the help for us to go and find this donkey, but there's only one of three things that can happen. It's either lost and wandering around out there, or it's died on its own, or it's been killed by a predator. Only time will tell which of those three it is.
While visiting small villages like this, I often try to do my part. But I have a feeling that tracking this donkey could serve another purpose, and that its fate might just provide us with a glimpse into the very heart of this conflict. I'm Ivan Carter, and while investigating the mysterious death of a young male lion, I've stumbled upon a local with a missing donkey. Along with my trusted friend and master tracker Livy, I've agreed to help find the missing animal, hoping that its fate will provide us with a clue as to the true nature of the human-lion conflict that still plays out across much of Africa.
I've got Livy on the back. He's actually looking for tracks as we're driving along this road. If the donkeys cross this road, there's several roads through this area. We'll be looking for its tracks. If the donkeys died or been killed, there's a very good chance that the vultures find it, and so we'll see the vultures from a long way away.
It's not long before Livy's keen eyes spot something on the side of the road.
There's lion tracks on the side of the road here. This is an old donkey cart track, eh?
Yes.
These tracks on top of that. What we've got here is we've got a lion track. Looks like a whole pride of lions, actually. I don't know if it's from last night or maybe yesterday, Livy.
I think it's from last night.
You can see there's quite a few tracks here.
Yeah.
They've walked down this road. You know, this potentially is quite a sinister finding here, because if we've got lions here right where that donkey's gone missing, you know, a donkey's not like a zebra, it's not like a wildebeest, it's not like a buffalo. It's a pretty easy target for a group of lions. Well, the lions are going in this direction, so we're going to carry on going in this direction. I hope that we're going to find this donkey before the lions do. Otherwise, for sure, the lions are going to kill it, and if the lions kill the donkey, that's going to put them in direct conflict with the humans, and that's going to be bad for the lions. You know, having seen these lion tracks so close, it looks like they're from the night. We're quite a few miles down this road now.
Once again, it's Livy who reveals our next clue.
We've got about a dozen vultures in a tree up here.
As we've already learned, a group of vultures like this is a sure sign that something's died. For the villagers' sake, I hope it's not the donkey. But with the tracks of a pride nearby, the last thing I want to see is another dead lion.
I must say it's a little bit tense. You're walking through this bush, it's relatively thick. We've got a very good idea that there's something dead here. You don't know if the lions are still here or if they've moved along. We just got to stay very aware of our surroundings in this kind of scenario. We've been going from the car for a few hundred yards now, and there's still a few vultures in the trees, but it just seems tough to find whatever they were here for. There's another vulture in the tree up there. There's got to be a kill somewhere here. Big livid right there to the left of that brown thing.
While investigating the case of a missing donkey, Livy and I have discovered evidence that a pride of lions is hunting in the area. And now we've come upon something dead in the bush. But instead of our lost donkey, we find a lion's natural prey. A wildebeest.
Definitely a wildebeest killed last night. This is positive from the perspective that it's not the donkey. But I was just hoping that maybe our search was over and we're not even started on the donkey yet. This is a significant sized pride of lion. You can see by the freshness of the meat that this is last night's kill. And the fact that every mouthful has been eaten, there's nothing left here. The shoulder blades have been chewed, the leg bones have been chewed absolutely clean of meat. The only thing left behind is some of the muscle on the head. Every other useful mouthful has been consumed. That's what the lions should be eating, is this wildlife.
This is not just one or two lions. This is a significant pride.
I just hope that they don't find that donkey. Because if they find the donkey, this is all we're going to find left of that.
A grown wildebeest is an important kill for a pride of lions. But the nutrient it provides only lasts so long. A healthy adult lion can eat between 10 and 15 pounds of meat every single day. So this pride, although well fed, will soon be back on the hunt, if they're not already. With little time to waste, we resume scouring the roads and cart paths, looking for any sign of the donkey or the lions.
Livy says he's seen a drag mark.
Once again, I'm simply amazed by Livy's ability to spot irregularities in our surroundings.
Livy's seen this drag mark crossing the road. It definitely looks like something's crossed the road here. I don't know what's dragged it or whatever, but there's certainly something being dragged here. Kaenda soy. So tauro kuti pane shumba hapo. Mkono ndio. He said it looks like just one male lion that's dragged something down this path.
With a sizable pride in the area, why would this lion be on its own?
We're doing some food, yeah? You can actually see how this drag has gone down this path. You can see how quite a bit of the grass is leaning in that direction. And you can see the bottom of the leaves of some of these bushes as they've been dragged over. It's certainly dragging a fairly large animal. This is not normal lion behavior. Lions are the apex predator. And when a lion kills something, he's normally super confident just eating it right where he's killed it. It's not usual for them to drag like this. We've already gone a couple of 100 yards. What is it that's making this lion nervous enough to drag this thing so far away? I don't know. He looks like he's going straight into this thicket down here. Just got to be really careful here going into this thick bush. I don't know if the lion's still going to be on whatever it's dragged in here. Andy.
As the terrain changes, it becomes easier to see this lion's movements.
Look how deeply this lion is pushed back in the sand here as he's dragged whatever it is as it's killed. I don't think it's very far ahead. It seems to be getting into thicker and thicker and thicker brush. He's laid down here and fed more.
And it's here that our search comes to an end. Livy, Iripopano, here it is. With lions in the area, me and my trusted friend Livy are trying to help a local farmer find his missing donkey. We've been tracking a single male lion who, spooked by something, has dragged a large object deep into the safety of the underbrush.
Here's the remains of the donkey. Yeah, it's just one lion on his own. You can see if it were a pride, they would have eaten a lot more. As it is, they've just eaten the back legs.
Livy continues to scan our surroundings for clues.
This doesn't quite make sense.
He calls me over and has found something else.
This is a donkey's leg. This bush here is fairly thick. You can see there's some chunks of meat here. This lion stopped here and fed, having dragged this donkey. This is a sign of a lion that's used to being persecuted by the human element here. And so they make an effort to get into this thick, thick bush far away from the cattle and the people. And that's where he stopped here momentarily to feed. You see here, that's a mane hair, but it's not a very long mane hair. Why would a young male lion like this be all on his own and come across a donkey? Livy, I think we better follow this drag back. I don't think that a lion with this kind of mane can be all on his own.
All I know is that I can't shake the growing feeling that something very sinister is happening here.
Well, now we're back where we left the car. This is exactly where the drag mark was. What we're going to do is carry on following the drag in the other direction. I want to try and find out where this donkey was actually killed. Why would this lion be on his own, and why did he drag this donkey so far? What made him feel just so insecure in dragging this donkey? This drag mark goes up here.
Yeah.
What's happened here, Livy?
Livy's years of experience allow him to decipher the events that took place here.
I think Livy's quite right. You can see here where there's hoof prints. You can see where there's been quite a struggle here. There's bits of fur, bits of donkey hair here. It's struggled and battled around here. There's some blood on the ground here. That's probably where they initially held it down. This is where this donkey probably actually died here. This is dry blood on the ground. You can see it's crispy. It's a couple of days old.
We've clearly stumbled back on the tracks of the entire pride of lions. As we look for more clues, I detect a strange scent in the air.
There's something that really smells bad here. Can't be the donkey, because the donkey's nearly a mile away.
Just a little further into the bush, we detect the source.
Oy, Livy, oy, oy. There's 3 dead lions here. Say, Livy. These lions have been snared.
There's no longer any doubt. This is the work of humans.
You can see how this wire is just tightened around here. Strangled. This is a big female. You can see how he struggled and twisted around and around this tree.
Livy and I are horrified.
Look at the scratch marks in the ground as he struggled against this wire. Also a piece of wire tight around its neck. This one's been eaten a little bit by hyenas.
The savagery of this crime scene is almost unbearable. It's likely that the lion that dragged the donkey carcass away from here is the only survivor from this pride.
One survivor, and all for just doing what lions are meant to do. This is so unfair. I can't even tell you, just... What's ended up happening, I believe this guy probably found his donkey here. As he would have approached, the lions would have backed off. He set snares. Killed the pride. And all except one that returned and took the remains of this donkey. And that's the drag mark we found. This is exactly what I feared earlier. Not fair on these lions. This whole pride except for one has had to die. With devastating effects on these lions. Lions don't know boundaries. They don't know modern civilization. Lions just understand the source of the easiest food. And if that happens to be a lost donkey, they don't understand the consequences. It's just not fair. Sorry, my boy.
The king of beasts doesn't deserve to die at the hand of man. With a piece of wire strangling the life out of him, I must do something.
To kill a whole pride of lions for just one donkey. That's just wrong. Now, I'm gonna find this guy. I'm just gonna tell him exactly what I think.
Carter's War would like to thank the following people and organizations. Without their help, this program would not be possible.
After finding a pride of lions strangled to death by wire snares, I'm driving to the village to confront the man who I believe committed this heinous crime.
Now, I'm gonna find this guy. I'm just gonna tell him exactly what I think. To kill a whole pride of lions for just one donkey. That just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's just wrong.
As I enter the outskirts of the village, I'm blocked by a large group of cattle. I have no patience for the delay, nor for their owner who tries to flag me down.
Ndisikuda kumira. Kune munhu hapo. Kune munhu uko akaroa shumba hapo. Ndakaiwana pane donge hapo akaroba neshumba, munhu akaroa shumba zvese.
No, unafanya kuti tinzwisisane.
Unoziva, kune munhu akasvina kunaka zvakadaro nokuti kune munhu uko.
Taurirana ye munhu.
But
takagara pasi. Taurirana zvakanaka takagara pasi neye munhu.
After some argument, I reluctantly agreed to step out of the car.
unoziva munhu uyu? Unoziva uyu akaroa shumba iyi?
Ndinomuziva. Zvino munin'ina wangu akatorerwa dongi rake neshumba idzodzo.
Iyi munin'ina yako? Ati indo akaroa shumba iyi? Zvina kunaka zva.
Saka izvozvo kana mukatarisa imuvarunguwo futi mune problem yokutiwo mune muchionasa kuti shumbawo futi yakakosha kudarika mombe. Tarisa mombe idzi.
Yapati unoziva chii? One donkey so asina kunaka kuroa shumba zvese. Mashumba vakaita vashoma nokuti wanu wese akaroa shumba every time.
Right. Ishoma ndodziona. But kana dzichizodla inini tarisa mombe ishoma idzi. Kuti ndichengete vana vakawanda kudai ndovachengeta sei?
Having children of my own, I can't help but sympathize with the man. So we carry on further down the road.
Asi une mombe mangani ma?
Mombe ndine 25.
Ne madonki?
Madongi ndine 4. Mutaundi ukatarisa hamuna mombe, hamuna madongi atinozona. Mvura muri kuita yekutora patepi. You see? Isisi mvura kuna tisiri kutora patepi. Tiri kutora padhemu nengoro, unoona. Ichidhonzwa ne?
Donki.
Ne dongi. Wazviona?
Ya unotaura chokwadi.
Otherwise idai dzanisiri shumba. Ng'ombe idai ndine more than 150. Izvo ndine 25. Mose dziri kudyiwa nechumba.
Yeah.
You see? Tarisa kunyangwe tichirova zvidhina zvedu. Tichirova zvidhina tichiteka mvura nemadhongi. Achidhonza ngoro.
You know, life really is all about perspective. I'm not going to say that I'm happy, but I can certainly say that I understand.
After the unexpected turn in our conversation, the farmer asks if he can introduce me to his children.
Uya. Right. Mamuona? Komana wangu.
Sure.
Yeah. It's prominent.
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 Yes, prominent.
Unoziva mombe zikabvira. Kwazisa vanhu shamwari.
Uri right here?
Uya Prosper. Uyu. Anonzi Prosper.
Prosper.
Yeah.
Yes, Prosper.
Murosa vanhu Prosper.
Uri right here? Good, do.
Provide. Uya. Maanya chaizvo uye. Uva morose. Uti mani.
Uri pano? Good, do.
Ndechi last born changu ichi.
Oh.
chinonzi provide. Chine 3 years.
Prominent, prosper, and provide.
Exactly.
Ah.
Hey.
My journey began on the Booby Valley Conservancy, an exceptional conservation model where, through careful research, protection, and community involvement, lions are truly thriving. I learned that possibly their most valuable tool was the 450-kilometer fence that surrounds their property, keeping the lions away from the people, and indeed the people away from the lions. Sadly, properties like this are few and far between, and across most of Africa, growing human and livestock numbers lead to bitter and often fatal rivalry between tribal people and the king of beasts. Yes, indeed, lions and humans continue to compete for resources. And as is true across the globe, when humans and wildlife collide, it's the wildlife that suffers.
It's pretty interesting as we sit here overlooking this guy's wealth. Wealth in the form of cattle, his donkey, his goat, his children, and all of those of which he's very proud. And anybody in his shoes, if a lion or anything else were to challenge that, would certainly fight back.